want to talk about, okay, this is kind of a big topic, but I think it's important, and it might take you a while for you to kind of come up with an answer. But what 3 events made the biggest impact on who you are today?
What? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It is huge.
3 events.
3 events in your life that made the biggest impact on who you are today.
Okay, I think discovering, I don't know who gave it to, probably my mom, most likely, gave me the VHS to Star Wars A New Hope.
Okay.
So watching, that was my first introduction to sci-fi with like space and fantasy and technology and all that stuff. That was like my first taste of it.
And you loved it.
I don't remember anything before that. So yeah, that was the first, and I just loved it. I would watch it over and over and over because that was my only. You couldn't research stuff. You couldn't go online and check out like videos of cool stuff. Like you have to go to the library.
That you can today.
Yeah, so that really helped define like my whole way of thinking and like looking up at the stars and thinking that there's more and just being like embracing like being a nerd. Back then it wasn't really nerdy.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know.
Just regular back then.
Yeah, it was regular. But yeah, the whole Star Wars phenomenon, I caught that. And so that was one.
Did I do one or do you want to go?
Yeah, you do one. I got to think of another one.
Okay, so for me, one that stands out the most, it was when my track coach passed away. So his name was Charlie, and he got cancer earlier. Like he got lymphoma, and I just like I knew that you could die from it, right? But I never thought that Charlie would die. And I think like he had reached out to me and said, "Hey Jane, come see me. Like I want to talk to you. I want to see you." And I was putting it off. And I'm like, "Yeah, Charlie, don't worry. Like I'm going to come visit you. I work 5 minutes away from where you live."
And you were pretty big into track. Like
I was
trained your whole life.
Yeah, like track was the love of my life.
Scouts looking at you.
Well, this is later. This is in my 20s.
Yeah, I know, but just give a little background of.
Yeah, so I was big into track. I loved it. It was my whole life, but this is like early, like whatever, right? So, it was like I call it the selfish part of my life. So I like to think that now is not the selfish part of my life, but in my early 20s, I was extremely selfish. And so I didn't make time to go see him. And then I remember waking up one morning, and normally I listened to the radio on the way to work. And then that day I was just like, nah, like I don't want to hear the same songs. I don't want to anything. Like, so I put on a CD and I listened to the CD all the way to work. And then at work, I was super busy. I didn't get to go on the computer that day. I didn't get to do anything. And then on the way home, same thing. I think I put on my iPod or something. And the significance of that part of the story was that he was such a legendary track and field coach that it was on the radio that he had died.
He was also Ben Johnson's track coach.
Yes. So I got home and my phone rang and I knew my dad was away for work, right? So I picked up the phone and I remember I had a red BlackBerry because I remember looking at it and thinking like, that's so weird. Like my dad's calling me. So I answered and he said, "Jane." And my heart fell into my stomach because he doesn't call me Jane. Like he calls me Jamsy or like maggot or like other horrible things, but he said Jane. And I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Charlie died." And I swear to God, it felt like, oh no, I'm going to cry. It felt like the walls were falling, and I think that kind of got me out of the selfish stage of life because then I realized, you have to do something in the moment. You have to seize the moment, because everything can be taken from you, like even your life. And he was my friend. He was my coach, but he was my friend. And he never got to meet you. He's never going to meet our daughter. Like, it's just, and he let me into his life. Like, I became friends with his wife and his son, and I think that they're amazing people still. And I think as a person, it profoundly changed me when he died. And I'll never forget the impact that it had. And then I swear every part of me that had been so selfish and put things off because I needed to do something else, because I had more important things to do, that just went away, and that's like, I'd say one of the biggest things that ever happened to me. Yeah. And it was crazy because I had lost like family members before and stuff, right? But it didn't have the same impact as Charlie. Yeah. And Justin, he said, like, you're a great partner for me. Like, you're the best, because you understand like what Charlie and Angie mean to me, and you're letting us honor him with our little girl's name.
Yeah, for sure.
So his name was Charlie, and the female version is Charlotte. So we're naming our little girl Charlotte in honor of this man who meant the world to me. Yeah, and I so appreciate that. Yeah, mine was kind of tragic.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me your second thing.
So now everybody, it's officially out now. You've probably heard before, but
it was all over the vlog too.
Charlotte's her name, and now you know why. She's honor of Charlie.
Charlie, yeah. So she's Charlotte Francis is her middle name, and and then she has now it's our last name, right?
Yeah.
But it's in honor of a person who just, like, he never stopped believing in me. There was points when I stopped believing in myself in terms of track and field, and I wanted to give up, and he and Angie would just not let me give up, because they saw something in me, and I'll always appreciate both of them for that. Yeah. Okay, baby, go on. Yours.
Okay, my turn. Man, so nothing's gonna come close to that, but I'm just trying to picture the defining moments, as you said, that happened in my life, and I never really even thought of these before this moment.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, my uncle, my dad's half brother, he was kind of like maybe 5 or 7 years older than us. So he wasn't. So the age difference wasn't that.
Dad's kid brother.
Yeah, age difference wasn't that far off. So when I would go to my grandmother's house, he lived there, and in this room, in this like computer room, he had this old, like a really old computer. Mm-hmm. And for me, I never even saw a computer. I didn't know what it was. No, I didn't. That was before I had a gaming console, anything like that. So he would have these games. He would have these floppy disks, not the small.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Not the small,
the black ones.
Floppy disks, the big black ones.
Yeah.
The big, actually floppy. When you flop them, they were big.
I had Pac-Man on a floppy disk.
Yeah, because people think that there's the smaller. Hard ones were floppy disks.
Those are not floppy disks.
Not.
Those were mini disks.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the old school, really, and you put it in, you turn the crank to lock it in place. So he would bring me in there, and then he would put the disc in, and like he would have DOS, and like he would have to write some it looked like code to get the game to work.
Holy.
I think it was even before Windows, but I don't know if. Okay, I'm pretty sure all that stuff was around, but he just didn't have it yet. He had an older computer, but all that stuff was around. So this was my first introductory into like computers and like figuring them out, how to work them, how to get something to work when it's not just clear on what to do.
Yeah.
And like my problem solving thinking and being interested in this machine that can do so much more, and I don't know, just seeing that really affected me. And then my interest in computers just bloomed from then, just being like, what are these machines? I want to learn how they work. I want to learn what I can do with them, how I can use them. And then soon after that, my dad got a computer for his office. And then I would always go on his computer and like tinker around with it and look at stuff and figure out how stuff works. So that really helped me where we are now. Like earlier, we were watching a podcast on TV, Rhett and Link's podcast. They have to use a mixer and then I was doing research on this too a couple of weeks ago, how to get two mics to work. This is just one example. So you have to buy a separate mixer, and plug both mics in, and you plug that into the computer. I don't have a mixer. So I figured out how to figured out how to get two mics working without a mixer, with just a laptop and a program. Like things like that, like I don't think I would have been able to figure stuff out like that if it wasn't for my uncle and his old school, I forget what it was called, maybe a Commodore 16 or something like that, some old cool computer that sparked that part of me. So yeah, that's another moment.
That's pretty cool. My second moment, that I guess, what word did I use here? 3 events that made the biggest impact on your life today. I guess my next one would be, I know it's cheesy, but it would be meeting you as an adult, because like 5 years ago, I was not a married, like soon to be mom, like house owner. Like I had bought a condo, but like owning a home, like I feel like when me and you got together, I really separated from my parents.
This is one of mine too, by the way.
Yeah. I stole it.
Yeah,
Are you just piggybacking?
No, it is. It really is.
Yeah, because it also changed me in strange ways. Hi, baby. Please don't bite me again. BMO's back. It changed me in ways where I got to own a pet. And it was like something I didn't think I'd ever get to do. And it was, if I had been living alone in the condo, I don't think I would have done it, because I don't think I would have understood how, I wouldn't have been brave enough.
I think when we met, your personality was, you didn't know you can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like for me, there's some things that you excelled in and you were great in, and there's other things.
School.
Yeah, but there was other things I had to kind of like Jane, you can do this. Like you can do whatever you want. Like you live your own person. You could figure out how to do that. And
like, let's be honest. The only 2 things that I was confident in were school and sports.
Yeah.
That's like really realistically, like I wasn't even confident in my cooking. I wasn't confident in anything, right?
Yeah, and I would push you to cook. I'd push you to learn how to cook and look up recipes. And if you didn't know how to do something, to figure it out. Like I was constantly, and when you would ask me to do something, like, Justin, come do this for me, I'd be like, no, like I'll show you how to do it. Yeah. But I'm not just gonna just completely do if you try to do it and you can't do it for some reason, then I'll do it, but I'll have you there looking so you can learn how to do it. Can I remind
you of something funny? So you, the first time I wanted to use your magic bullet, oh my God, I wanted to make us margaritas, and I'd never used a magic bullet before, and I asked you how, and you're like, it's so easy, you'll figure it out. And so then I took the margarita thingy in the cup.
Okay, so there's a cup.
A cup, and you're supposed to screw in the blades,
and then
it seals it tight, right. So it makes it so that no liquid will come out. And then you put it into the machine.
Yeah, and then it spins the blades and it mixes the whole thing.
So in JV's world, it would never occur to him that someone wouldn't know to screw in the blades.
Yeah, because there's 3 pieces. There's the cup, the blades, and the machine. That's
so I poured the stuff into the cup, and then I put the cup onto the the
machine.
The machine, like the part that plugs into the wall.
With the motor and everything. Without the blades.
And then I tried to turn it on.
And then you flipped it upside down.
Yeah, and then it all started to spill out, and I tried to turn it on, and Justin's like, "What are you doing?" Like screaming. And he's like, "You could have been electrocuted." Yeah. And I just started crying. And I'm like, "You said I would be able to figure it out." They're crying, and
yeah, because
it set my confidence back a little bit.
Oh my gosh, I was like, there's no way anyone cannot figure this out, because it's 3 pieces. You screw it on top, and then you just put the open cup on top of the machine. And
I didn't know.
I know, but that was like, then I was like, okay.
You're like, she's an idiot.
No, not an idiot, but I gotta like
break things down a bit more. Yeah, because I think
confident.
Like I was confident traveling. I was confident playing any sport, and I was confident in anything in school, right?
But maybe at home your parents didn't let you do things like, don't touch that, I'll do it.
Yeah, like no, it was more like, don't go in the kitchen.
Yeah,
and it was like, or if I made food, it was like I would make toast or grilled cheese or something like that.
But when you lived with me, you expanded everything, cooking, you're trying different foods. And I remember another example is the wallpaper that you put up in the condo. So
I watched an episode of Property Brothers, and I fell in love with this wallpaper.
Yeah, this wallpaper, and then she wanted me to do it, and I'm like, Jane, I could do it, I could figure it out and learn how to do it and do it myself, but you love this wallpaper and you want it up. I'm like, if you figure out how to do it and you put it up, you'll have this sense of satisfaction every time you see it. That's just like undescribable.
And at first I was so mad at you because I wanted you to do it.
You were so mad, and I'm like, Jane, let's look up some videos together, and then I'll be with you at first, and then you put it up. You did all that. You put it up yourself, and then every time someone came over, she'd be like, "I put up the wallpaper."
Like, come in and check out the wallpaper I put up.
Because it was perfect. There wasn't any flaws.
And it was
or anything.
beautiful.
Yeah, and it was so nice. And I'm like, Jane, see, like, it's like when I have to put in a new sink or install a light switch or a new light fixture. You feel great. Like, I did that.
Yeah.
Now I felt it was important for you to get that part, because I've seen other people where like the husband will just do all everything. The handy stuff, and then the wife is like,
it's good because
I don't know how to do it, or like I don't
normally I would say now I don't need you for a lot of things, but right now, like, I can't, like, my hands get swollen, like I retain water different times in the day, so now I can't even open jars sometimes.
No, not
and
like,
but I'm like
now,
super pregnant, right?
Now it's different, but
but I would say, like, in terms of in life, there's so many things that I can do that I couldn't do before we got together. So you did profoundly change me.
Yeah. And like, there's nothing that kind of pisses me off more when something needs to be done, and then with like another, if I see it, like say like during like say we're moving furniture or something, or we're moving our house and you're moving boxes and stuff. Yeah. And there'll be like a girl that's there that's not doing anything.
It'll drive you crazy.
Yeah, and then it's just like, come on. Like,
meanwhile, I'm like, and you think about even my crew. Like, remember when we moved, Peter Gay and Adrian?
They all helped.
Like, and they were like amazing. Poor Adrian is just covered in sweat. Yeah. She's so skinny, right? She's carrying all these boxes, and then like Peta, my little 5'0" bestie, she's so cute. She's like trying to hold boxes over her head, and it was just like, like, God, I love that. I love strong women.
Yeah, just confidence and like,
so you did help build my confidence.
For sure. You helped me in other ways too, like huge.
So this is your third now. Do you want to go on? This is your final one.
I'm running out of time, but yeah.
We can get this because you have to do your third, and then I have to do my third.
Wait, you didn't? This wasn't.
That was my second.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is your final one.
So yeah, meeting you.
But how did it profoundly impact your life, Bubs? Go into it. Give us the details.
Oh man, how did it profoundly impact my life?
Well, you said it was one of the things that impacted your life the most. It made you who you are today.
I was gonna say something else. Like
You don't have to say it's me.
It is you though. That's okay. You want me to say 4 things?
You can do 4 if you want. I'm gonna do 3, but you're allowed to do 4.
Okay, so meeting you, obviously, it's kind of obvious though. Meeting you was a huge, huge change in my life because before, I was like, probably going down a certain path of just like, I guess, man, it was a lot of like partying and drinking. That was like my past.
Yeah.
And then when I met you, I kind of like pulled you into that a little bit.
For a little while, yeah.
Yeah, and then we together, just seeing what we can accomplish together, we kind of pulled ourselves out of it, and then just started excelling at pretty much like anything we did together.
Yeah.
Especially with YouTube, like when we started to do YouTube and get serious. When we
started to take it more seriously.
Yeah, then we kind of like, just everything just came together. Like we were already doing good, but then when we started working together and then having a certain goal and knowing that like we want to build this to something huge, and we started talking about getting into real estate and building this huge like, empire and having our families taken care of and taking care of our kids, and just this whole partnership happened. This partnership mentality. First,
it really changed us.
Yeah, when I was younger, I kind of thought of a girlfriend as just like a separate thing. Like she has her business, I have mine, but we're together. But now it's like the longer we were dating, it's like this isn't just a separate person. Like we're a team. We're one unit, and
I think that's what makes a successful marriage too. Like operating as a team.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we're not 2 individual people.
Yeah, there's no like I have my world and you have your world. Like
where did you get those speakers? They're mine.
Yeah. What the heck? Well, you had that when we first started dating because you said your siblings
they used
would always
to
take
steal
your
my stuff.
The one time I asked, there was these speakers that were just like in a box or something. I was like, "Where'd you get these speakers?" And James yells, "They're mine!" Like, whoa, just asking.
Because they used to always take my stuff.
Yeah.
It drove me crazy. And then they would never give it back. Even like Shayna stole my niece. She stole my hair straightener, like $300 hair straightener, and then pretended that she didn't. And it was like, dude, like that's mine. Yeah, I never got it back, Shayna. Yeah. So that changed your life. But what was going to be your other thing that you were going to say? You said you had 4.
I kind of touched on it earlier a little bit. Just like, I guess, the first time seeing Casey Neistat's videos.
Yeah.
Like, I was over at Eric's house, and he's like, let me show you this cool vlog. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, just watch this. It was the vlog with him and his son. They break into this, like...
Water park? Yeah, I've seen that.
That was my first Casey video I watched. And like after seeing that...
And they see bugs there.
Yeah, and they saw bugs, and it was gross. Yeah. But it was a really cool video, and it was so well done that I was like, people can make this? Like, who is this guy? Oh, he was a filmmaker, but still, like, he has a camera, he can make it and just put it on YouTube. And that was kind of like the first... taste of like, wow, like YouTube is a thing. Before that, I never even thought of it. I was like, I gotta be an electrician, I gotta work this job, I gotta get a 9 to 5. But like that was my first like, maybe I can do this. And then we spent like many days and months and years talking about YouTube and how we can like make a channel. Like me and my friend Eric would talk about that a lot. And then later on when I met you, it became just kept evolving. Yeah.
Yeah, my final one, my third. So my first one was when Charlie died. My second one was meeting you, and my third one is actually like severely recent. Like, it was getting pregnant. I never thought that would change me or like impact my life in any way, but. My gosh, it's like, and I think it'll be different for you when she's here, but for me now, I know I'm a mom. I can feel her all the time. I can feel her react to things. I can, I laugh at her when she has hiccups, and, her and BMO scrapping through my belly. It's like hilarious. But I feel changed because I can tell, this sounds so weird coming out, but I can tell that she loves me. And she's not even here yet. It's so surreal. It's indescribable. Like sometimes I know she's like pushing off it feels like my spine and trying to push her back out. But I can wrap my hand around her back on my belly. And I'm like, you want me to hold you. Like, this is what you're doing. So then I'll hold her and I'll like rub her back until she goes back to like sitting inside. And it changed me as a person, yes. But it changed me as like a teacher, you know, because I've always taught health. I'm a phys ed teacher, right? And I've always kind of taught about reproduction, like that kind of thing. But it never meant anything to me. And then this year teaching it, like, especially like with the grade 11s, and we were talking about like the stages of development. And there was like a certain week where it said that the baby will react to light. So then the kids in the class were like, Miss, let's test this out and see if this is real. So then they turned off the lights, and one of them got their cell phone and put on the flashlight and was flashing it around my belly. And then the baby started to move, and they cool. saw it, and they were like losing their mind. And I was like, even I was like, this is so cool. And
actual experiment.
Yeah. So it's like lessons that I'm sure they'll never forget and I'll never forget. And it's just like now I think that I'm not someone teaching something that I read in a book and I know about. Like, I'm teaching from life experience.
Yeah, you know, firsthand.
Yeah. And it was so funny because they were all concerned that if I left before I had the baby, like, how would they know what happens in labor? And I said,
subscribe to my
I
YouTube
don't know.
channel.
Yeah, like, I'm not sure what's going to happen, you know? But I am sure, like, for you, it'll be different. It'll be when she's out, because
yeah, for me right now, it's like, I know things are different, but it's not like I'm carrying the baby. Like, I can see you, I can help you. Like,
and you can feel her sometimes.
Yeah, but it's not like when she's here, I guarantee everything's going to change when she's here.
Yeah.
And it's
You're
also said too, like fathers kind of don't have that connection yet, you know, like, because she's not in me, like, I can't feel her. But
like, the whole time I've been talking about her, she's been moving. And it's I don't know, I wish that you could feel it for a minute. I know sometimes I get really upset because it hurts.
Yeah, she hurts you.
But at the same time, I think it's so cool to just like go through it.
Yeah, guys won't have that.
No, you'll never get that. And
never get that.
Well, I mean, they have these, like, apparently these, like, you know, those Dr. Ho pads or whatever.
Oh, yeah, it's
you
like
can apparently put on you to feel, like...
Yeah, to feel labor, though. I'm not talking about labor. I'm talking about just,
yeah, forget labor. You want to feel, like, what it's like to have this human floating in you.
Like, you have this super special bond with her now.
Yeah.
But since YouTube now, I can work from home.
Yeah.
So when you go back to work, then I'll have a little bit of time to catch up and, like, hang out with her.
She better still love me. It's like, well, you know what? I was so worried that when you started working from home and I was at work, I was so scared that BMO would switch over to loving you more.
No way.
But
no way, man. She does, like, she'll chill with me during editing. Like, she'll oversee the editing process. Like, she'll sit on my lap and hang out with me, and like, or she'll sit behind me on the couch. But when you come home, she follows you everywhere you go.
I can't even go to the bathroom. If I go to the bathroom, she sits on my lap.
It's so strange. She's like so needy. I don't get it.
Yeah, and she puts me to sleep constantly. Like, she'll just start purring, like, get on my chest, and I'm like, Bimo, I gotta do work, and then I'm like conked out because she. Like,
we'll play together. Like, we're like kind of. Like, she's my play buddy. Like, I'll run around with her and she'll chase me down.
We don't really play.
Yeah, me and her play like throughout the day and stuff. Like, I'll set aside like 2 or 5 minutes to play with her, and then because I know she's alone. Like, she's an only cat.
She's an only child. Yeah.
And she doesn't go outside. Oh, no. She comes.